Hi, today I want to show you how to create a pop-out image. This is Becky Livingston from Pen Heel Marketing, and this is a pretty exciting and fun thing. It's really a fun little element to use in slide decks, in marketing materials, in emails, social media posts, even better. So let's take a look at how we can make this work. Here's my overall image. And it's made up of a bunch of different parts. So if I click on this and I go to position and I look at layers, you can see it. There's a few pieces in here. We have our white background, we have the image of the woman, we have the paper hole, and we have another image of the woman. That's all you really need to get started with this. So let's pop down here and make a new one. First thing we're going to do is go over to elements and look for paper hole. And we're going to search for that. And we're going to look for paper hole. That would be helpful. And we're going to look for, in this case, I'm using this one. This is the same one that I used in the previous image to make. So it's right there, it's same image. The next thing I'm going to look for is a person pointing. So I'm going to search for person pointing. And I want to do photos. I want to click on my elements up here and I want to do cutouts only. So I'm just getting a person who is pointing in some fashion or another. So I could use this person and he could be pointing. So I'm going to need two of them. But before I do anything, I want to make sure that he's a silhouette. I'm going to remove his background just to make sure there's not a white background sitting behind him. The next thing I want to do is duplicate. So I'm just going to click duplicate. And I'm going to move this one over here to the side. Oops, there he is. Let me duplicate him again. There he goes. I'm going to move him over here. The next step is I want to move my image to the background. So I clicked on position and I'm going to drag it back there. Now, to make it look like he's popping out, I'm going to take the front version, I'm going to lay it across the top of the bottom version, exactly the way I want it to be. And then I'm just going to drag up the bottom of the image. So I've got a version of him pointing out at the top and a version of him at the bottom. I'm going to come back over to layers again. I'm going to go to position. I'm going to go to the one on the bottom. Now you can see this is the other side of it. So if I take this one, I don't want to do that. I don't want to shorten it because then I'll see the whole thing. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to come over here to tools. And maybe you've never used tools before, but this is a fun little thing to use. So I'm going to use tools. I'm going to use my marker and I'm going to change the color to white. I'm also going to change the size or the weight of my circle. So you can see that my circle is pretty small here when I use my pencil. So I'm going to make it a little bit bigger and I've got some space here. So now I'm going to come in and I'm going to remove all the parts that I don't want to be seen. So I'm going to come in here. This takes a little bit of time, but you can see that I'm going to make this bigger also so I can actually get in there with some details. I can use that tool. Again, that's tools. I'm going to grab my pen. It's white. And I'm going to come in here, probably make my circle a little bit smaller so I can get into those details and just kind of outline this and make it as clean as possible. Now, I could also, let me undo that. I'm going to outline this a little bit so I don't lose that background. I'm going to do this all the way around. Make my circle a little bit bigger so I can cover more space easily. I'm just going to move this around here until I get rid of all that extra space. I'll make it look as clean as I can, and then I'll come in and do some fine tuning. But that's basically what you're going to do. You're going to come in here and you're going to wipe out this background a little bit, get rid of that. And as I make this a little bit better, you can start to see how the image makes it look like he's popping out. He's popping right out of this thing. It's kind of crazy. It's really easy to do. It's time consuming with this picture, but I can certainly do it without any problems. I can go in there and fine tune it a little bit more. But as you can see, now I've got him popping out. Pretty fantastic. The other thing I can do is I can take the paper picture and I can remove the background. So what's that going to do? That's going to drop out some of the other details. I don't particularly love that. I want to keep the shading that's in there. So he looks like he's popping out. I'm going to go back in and fine tune that a little bit. But that's all you have to do to make an image pop out. Pretty cool. You also want to save this. Remember, you want to save this stuff. So this is paper, whole, pop out video. Great. I'm going to file save it, move it to a folder. I'm going to put that in a folder. And that's all there is to it. Easy peasy.